right, welcome to the Holy Hour, guys. I hope everyone's doing well out here. This is the bi-weekly Cure podcast, and we got a very special holiday episode for you guys out there today. It is Valentine's Day, everybody's favorite cheesy, unnecessary holiday, but we got something really special for you. We got John back on the show. How's it going, John?
Hey, it's going good, yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Hope everyone's good over there.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on this very special holiday. Making time to be with me on Valentine's Day. It means a lot.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'll be spending it with anyone else, so.
Well, yeah, we figured, it's very rare that holidays sync up with release dates for us on the Holy Hour, so, and it's passed up a few times over the years. I'm like, do we want to do the obvious, like the most loving songs of the Cure for Valentine? It's like, that's pretty much the most anti-Cure thing you could do. So what we're going to do this episode, we figured we'd cover all the bases since the Cure is the perfect happy and sad band out there. And we figured to cater to everyone's Valentine's needs on this day, we will present our picks for a perfect loving Cure mix, and we're gonna do the anti-Valentine's Day mix of heartbreaking, depressing, gut-wrenching. Any other adjectives you would like to throw into the depressing mix?
No, I think we said it all there, like, yeah.
The pits of hell. So we're gonna cover every extreme and present them to you guys in a playlist, a mix CD, something of the sort. And who knows, maybe if you're making a last-minute gift for somebody, you can throw some of these suggestions in there. So I guess before we get rolling, would you agree that The Cure is a great example of a band that covers the spectrum, happy and sad?
Oh, definitely, yeah. They've always been one of them bands for me, especially that no matter what mood you're in, there's always something you can pull out of them. Yeah. And looking at these two kind of lists I've set up here for these two mixes, you can kind of pick and choose which albums can kind of set you in which mood, and it's just a great band that they can do that, really, because there's some bands like, I'm only going to listen to these if I'm miserable, and there's, you don't really want to listen to Katy Perry after a tough breakup, do you? So
totally. Unless you got a real weird spot for however that went down. But yeah,
Taylor Swift could work. Like she's good for that. But
yeah. So very versatile, and even in the dynamic of the songs, they're the ultimate happy sad band, where even the happy songs can be sad, and sometimes the sad songs have a positive underlining happy meaning sometimes. So a lot going on. So you're right. They do cater to every mood. And I think that's one of the things we've touched on a lot with this show, is that they totally just, it's whatever you bring into it. And that's what makes them great. One of many things, I think, is that it is like whatever your mood that you're bringing into it leaves a lot for interpretation, and you can stew in it or just put it on and have it be good, nice background music. So that goes a long way. So as far as that, do you have a preference then when you're right in the middle? Do you tend to? I think we've covered it in the past when we've talked. But for the people out there,
I'm the dark, melancholic type. So. I don't find myself listening to Love Cats too much, unless it's on the radio and I go, well, yeah, I've got to support my boys, so I'm going to listen to it.
So when you're just hanging out, cleaning the house, it's not too often you're throwing on the Love Cats remix?
Certainly not, no. It's more the Disintegration album. I think that record gets the most play out of all of them. Yeah. That and Wish. Wish is a good up and down album, and I think looking at both of these happy and sad sections, there's definitely stuff from Wish I've pulled from each one, whereas I don't think there's anything in the happy lovey-dovey bit that comes from Disintegration. So I think Wish is probably one of the better examples of a both sides of the coin. You know?
Yeah, it covers a lot of it too. So it's nice when you can get them both in one. Kiss Me's good for that too, or it definitely.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And everything in between, for whatever the hell mood Hey You strikes, I guess that's good. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. Even though I love a good pop song and have a soft spot for hooks and stuff, I think I definitely 9 out of 10 times will lean more towards the overdramatic and more darker side. But I think the hooks reel you in is what they're for, I guess. So talking playlist and mix for this episode. Are you a guy that do you make a lot of mixes? I guess maybe that's kind of dating myself. Even would a playlist be a more appropriate term?
Yeah, yeah, I've done playlists on Spotify before. I think I've got a playlist set up called they're just playlists I
Yeah.
put on for myself, like. But Melancholic Bliss is a good one I go to quite often. That's
Cool.
got lots of Cure, lots of the Smiths, lots of a bit of Joy Division, a bit of Lou Reed, and
Yeah.
just anything with that kind of sad but kind of witty, melancholy towards it.
Yeah. Covers the bases there for sure.
Yeah.
I'm definitely. I probably mentioned this on the show before too. Just always growing up when like making mixes, it's like my go-to like board thing where I feel like I'm still creating something. If I was going all the way back as a kid with 2 tape decks, I would just constantly make myself little mixes and just see how songs could flow into each other and stuff. It was like the early stages of obsessing over album song listing order and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just so fun. But yeah, did you ever give them out as gifts or anything like that?
No, I remember,
Share 'em.
as you say, we're kind of there's a bit of a generational divide, but
Yeah, I
I
wouldn't.
remember back in the day, I used to burn songs onto CDs for, car rides, and even further back than that, when we had the portable Walkman CD players.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of when I did dive into a bit of that, and I've always been cautious of, well, the album's got to have the opener, and you've got to have the midpoint turner, and
Yeah,
so
yeah,
yeah, I always consider, and when I've put these lists together, I've kind of worked it more as imagining it as an album rather than
yeah.
like a mix, like. So some of these you may think, should that go? Maybe another song could have gone in there, but I'm kind of thinking, like, you're sitting there, you're dropping the needle on it. What songs do you want to hear back to back from each other?
Totally, yeah, and the flow of it and everything too. There's a
Yeah,
note
the
like,
flow, yeah.
yeah, I still make CDs for half of my friends that probably don't even have CD players anymore and stuff. But it's like, here, I made this just for fun, just because it's fun to share music that way. It's hard to hand them a playlist on Spotify or something. But yeah, I always, like you're saying, like we'll throw like some kind of weird instrumental track in the middle or something to kind of give the illusion to this is the end of side A, and and it just breaks up the flow a little bit where you can reset it. It's a little harder to get 20 songs to flow together as opposed to 10 here and 10 there, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to always have little tricks and stuff too, where I'd like to start off the first track with like an old classic or something to reel them in, but maybe not be like something too obscure, and then come out blazing with what you think is the coolest song in the second one or something, like that. But
Yeah.
and actually for Valentine's Day, my wife and I never give each other gifts or anything really, but the one thing I do try to consistently do is because she always likes new music, she hates dwelling on old stuff. Unlike me, where I'm still dwelling in 1989, but
I know, yeah, same here. And
so,
I wasn't even born in that year.
yeah.
Not the same.
I'm like, I don't know this new band, but I always make her a mix every year and cover a song and put it on there, and then try to just find new stuff to put in there. And it's always this hunt for the last couple months leading up to it, where I'm just trying to find any obscure new stuff, and
Yeah.
so it's about as close as it gets. So like I said, we're gonna list through our ideas of a heartbreaking mix and a positive love mix, depending on where you're at on this Valentine's Day. And anybody out there that is making a mix or a playlist for anyone, maybe we could throw some suggestions their way. So I don't know. What do you think? You want to kick off this playlist? Should we start on the dark side?
Yeah. So if you can visualize at home or wherever you're listening to this, the record store day of the year you're listening to this gets announced, and the Cure have announced a nice big 2-disc picture disc vinyl called the Heartbreakers and the Heartshakers.
Yeah,
And
that's a good way to look at it.
disc one's going to be the Heartbreakers, and disc two's going to be the Heartshakers. I couldn't come up with a better name to come up with
There you go.
happy stuff, but yeah. So
it sounds actually more realistic than the idea of a new album too. So like,
yeah,
oh, wow.
it does. Yeah, they could keep churning out. You know, they've still got about 5 or 6 student albums to re-release. So
yeah, it's like we got this double, quadruple vinyl, sad and happy vinyl reissue. But still,
it'd be about 4 discs actually, wouldn't it? Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But so yeah, we're gonna start on the dark side then with the Heartbreaker.
Okay, so we're not. I don't want to get everyone too miserable to begin with, so we're starting with something that's a bit more upbeat in tone, and that is Too Late, which this was not intentional, but that's the B-side to Love Song.
Yeah, I like that.
So I'll wait for you where I always wait, behind the signs that say the news. I'll watch for you like yesterday, and hope for you one day that won't spend out on me.
I just thought that Too Late's quite, it's quite melancholic. The lyrics I can't say I've listened to deeply too much, but it does seem kind of like that, when you kind of first go through a breakup and it's the early days and you've still kind of got that lingering hope left in you that things could possibly work out, and have things been left too late, and
yeah,
etc.
Totally. Yeah, I always love like the "if I could just once catch your eye" line. It just has like just enough like hope in it still, but it's not looking good,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great one to not in the full on rock bottom at that point. So yeah, I was gonna ask too before we even officially roll into it. Did you give yourself a criteria of any sort? Are they all strictly relationship based, or do the ones that teeter on more like giving up on hope of religion and the world in general, do they fit into this, or kind of mix and match?
It's a bit mix and match. I think that I have kind of centered more on the relationship aspect, or even songs which may not be about relationships, but you can kind of interpret that through certain lyrics as we'll get on. Some will stand out, which may not necessarily have a narrative behind it based on a relationship. But yeah, I think they're mostly the kind of things you think about when you go through a tough breakup or things don't work out, and the kind of thoughts that flow through your head. And a lot of these songs, I've kind of pulled them lyrics out, and I've
Totally.
We're gonna start crying now, but I think I've been in a few of these scenarios myself. So
yeah, I'm the feeling. Right on. Cool. Well, I love it already. Too Late is a great lead-off track there. So cool.
So we take a nosedive now into true despair and misery, and we go into Trust from the Wish album.
Okay, yeah.
It's that really slow piano and just how it all builds up with the strings, and it just feels so epic, and it really kind of jerks the emotions and gets the tears rolling.
Yeah, that's definitely a forgotten favorite in the depressing side of the world. I really wish they would dig that one back up. And
to hear that live, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, you would think Roger would be into that one too, because it gets a little more to do on that, even though he could probably still play that piano part in his sleep, but I think he could really flavor it up nice, and yeah, that's a great track. So awesome. Yeah, I'm feeling the burn already. So
so
we got
rolling
track 3.
On. Yeah. Rolling on to track 3, we've got Last Dance.
Okay. Yeah.
Last Dance, it's your last dance, the last dance together. I think it kind of speaks for itself. It's, very drastic in its sound, and, sounds very, gives you a bit of a feeling of anxiety listening to it with that, when that guitar comes in, and it just sounds like quite a sad song. And once again, it's not something I've dug too deep into the lyrics and understand, but it's always come across to me as kind of the back end of the relationship, or even losing a partner through more tragic means or something.
Yeah, and some even reflection of sadness, even just knowing that it's catching up, and it's a beautiful one where the music, like you said, says it all too, and then throw the lyrics on top of it, and it's another home run.
Yeah. So we're going to get the foot tapping again now. We've had two of the kind of slow, longer songs, and we're going to go into another B-side, which I can't believe this. I only found out when I was listening to the songs. It's the B-side to Friday I'm in Love, Scared as You.
Yeah.
I love that song. I think it's a real underrated gem. Well, it is a B-side, isn't it? So it kind of flies under the radar, but I think that's a song that's really spoken to me a few times, actually. And it's not much to say from it. It's just an absolute jam. That bass line.
Yeah, it's nice.
And the kind of, I don't know if to call it a chorus, but that that kind of melody of throw it all away.
Yeah. So it's very, like you said, underrated as hell too. You never see anybody pulling that one up, so that's pretty golden. Yeah, I agree. What do you got for track 5?
Okay, this is the darkest we're gonna get here, I think, and it's Siamese Twins from the Pornography album.
Yeah.
The lyric on that song that stood out to me the most is like, "I scream, you're nothing.
Yeah.
I don't need you anymore, you're nothing." So it's another one of them. It may not necessarily be based on a relationship, but kind of lyrics like that really pull you and strike you, especially if you've got them kind of thoughts and feelings spinning around your head.
Yeah.
I hope no one's crying while listening to this, because
this might do it. They're on track if they're not there yet. Yeah, pornography stuff's tough because it's like all of it, of course. It's like disintegration in the sense that, I feel like the right mood, all of it, but picking the right one, and like, like I was saying earlier too, of like depending on which criteria you give yourself is like how depressed are we getting here, because this is like when spiders are eating your skin and stuff, that takes it to a whole new level, I guess. But Siamese Twins, perfect. Cool deal. So that's maybe the end of side 1 on this.
So that's side 1. So you're gonna spin the disc and put the needle down, and you're gonna come into a part, another kind of underrated gem off the Wish album, which I'm always gonna give my love to the Wish album. It's my favorite album.
Right on. Yeah, I feel like the sad ones on Wish too are definitely. Yeah, I think we talked about that with the Wish episode and stuff, where it is a strange album, especially if you start lumping in all the, Lost Wishes and the little instrumental clips here and there and stuff, where that album could have totally taken a whole different turn as far as, like, if you just did it more dark and took the, doing the Unstuck and Friday I'm in Love out, even as a single, then that would have just totally changed the mood of the whole album, and tracks like apart, and I like it being 50-50 or whatever, having the variety is great, like we said, but these the dark ones on that are priceless, so, all the whisper tracks and stuff.
So now we go into our third B-side on the record. You want a reason for people to buy it. You don't want to just lump these songs together. You want some rare tracks to listen to. Signal to Noise, the acoustic version.
Okay.
Nothing I do makes much sense. Say you don't really get me anymore. I wonder if you ever did.
I think that's a very good song, based kind of like on the back end of a relationship. I'm gonna get this mixed up. Did I move too fast? Did you move too fast, or did I move too slow?
Yeah,
there's a good line from that. And it kind of brings you up a bit, but we're still staying on theme, you know.
Yeah. And I like that you chose the acoustic one because you can kind of pick out the parts a little easier in that one too and hear the lyrics better. And, it's like got a little bit more less piled on top of itself than the actual version. Gets a little muddy sometimes. But yeah, it's a great underrated gem too. So people would buy the vinyl just for that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I certainly would.
Totally. Cool.
So, heading to the back end of it now, this is the saddest the album's going to get. To Wish Impossible Things. Off Wish again. I think most of these pulls have been off Wish.
Mm-hmm.
I was tempted to just say the Wish album.
Right.
take out a few songs and the Wish album, but I thought, no, you've got to be creative and original here, so...
It's part of the hard part there. You just swap out Friday I'm in Love with Siamese Twins. It's like, whoa. Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's a great one, too. I wish they would dig that up for more live stuff, too. Yeah. Maybe once
there's a lot of strings on it, isn't there? So it'd be a bit hard to pull off live, I think.
Yeah.
Without, like, a big band behind them or orchestra or something like that,
Be interesting when they, like we said, if ever, tour for this alleged new album, and take some of the get back to throwing weird ones like that in the set would be great, just because it's steering away from the festival greatest hits kind of sets, as much.
We did go heavy into that in the past 2 years, didn't they?
Yeah, which with all the anniversaries and stuff, we've been over it a billion times, but at the same time, it would be nice to get a little break from those. It's understandable, but at the same time, it'd be cool to get back to some darker than dark on a few. But anyway, how would you round this one out then?
Right, so we're rounding this one up. I kind of weighed this one up and down. I wasn't too sure about putting it on, but I thought after all that misery, we need a bit of a lift up, and we needed a bit of a you go through the 7 stages of the all 7 stages of like denial, and eventually you get to acceptance, don't you? And I think this one's more of an accepting end of the relationship, end of the love affair song. Boys Don't Cry. Yeah, it doesn't really match with the others, but I thought, it's a get up and brush the dust off your feet kind of track and get back out there,
Yeah, the Unplugged one, we did the Unplugged episode, and just the difference between
the greatest hits,
yeah, like how sad it is on Unplugged versus like the actual rock version. It's like you really kind of see the true essence of the sadness underneath it all, when you hear that kind of more somber take on the vocals. And
well, I'll tell you what, let's put that one on then. It's the the acoustic version. Yeah, there you go.
Why not?
That rounds it up. That's the Heartbreakers album.
All right, that's quite a list there. So just to recap, we had Too Late, Trust, Last Dance, Scared as You, Siamese Twins, Apart, Signal to Noise, Wish Impossible Things, and then Boys Don't Cry.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
cool,
I think so.
Yeah, so great way to end and start on slightly poppier but still very depressing note. I like that. Makes it very listenable. Yeah, I was kind of just jotting down ones. I didn't make a full-on depressing list to accompany yours, but a lot of the ones would pair up for sure on my ultimate sad list. I would definitely have Apart in there, and Trust. Maybe a couple I would add in. Same Deep Water as You is my ultimate. Like somewhere around the middle maybe. Faith, I'm always arguing between Same Deep Water as You and Faith, of which is the Cure's ultimate sad song. But like I said, with Faith, you could tell there's a little bit more going on there than just a breakup, so I don't know if that qualifies. That's like taking on some bigger levels of depression. What's the other favorite ones? 1,000 Hours, and Kiss Me is definitely a sweet, sad one that I always go to when I'm feeling super depressed. Sinking too is a good one.
Oh yeah, Sinking. I love Sinking. Yeah.
And Bear's kind of a good underrated one from Wild Mood Swings. Where
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah.
yeah, like those. And then of course, Pictures of You and Letter to Elise always get me, depending on whatever mood I'm in, you know. But it's
Yeah, I really wanted to put Letter to Elise in, but I was like, I've put so many tracks off Wish.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be, as I said before, it's just gonna be Wish.
Variety's sake, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool,
Oh
yeah.
god, I love Letter to Elise.
Yeah. And Untitled, but maybe that's cheating too, where everything, and I'm kind of the same way you are with Wish, where everything would just start and end with disintegration, you know. So,
Yeah.
depending on your mood, even. But yeah, there's certain parts of Untitled that get me every time. So those would be my honorable mentions as the bonus disc, maybe, to your when we do we do the deluxe CD reissue of this vinyl release, we can put those on there.
30 years after the original release, yeah.
So shall we let's get happy now? Shall we shift
Yeah,
gears?
let's get happy. Let's do the Unstruct and let's get happy.
Have to sober up here. And for Criteria, I took the idea of, it's tough with The Cure because, like I said earlier, a lot of their peppiest, funnest songs are actually kind of sad at heart, you know, like just like Heaven and stuff. And even like, you know, something like Pictures of You, like I said, can be the funnest song in the world or the most depressing one in the world, depending on what mood you're in. Or Catch or something, you know, I think of Catch as this super romantic song or something, but it's kind of like, I don't know, lyrically anyway, it can be a little on the depressing side. So I tried to challenge myself by picking ones that were just 100% blissful, romantic, happy, all that kind of stuff. And so unfortunately it gets a little predictable, you know, because those tend to be the big singles and such too. So I apologize in advance for lack of creativity, but you know, you get what you get with the happy stuff. Thought it'd be cool to kick it off with Love Song to accompany Too Late on your depressing list. There would be cool. And it's the most obvious one, so you gotta have Love Song on there. We when we talked about the 30th anniversary disintegration, Chaz had all these theories that Love Song's actually a super depressing song. But
I've always seen it that way.
I think it's just one of those ones that could go either way, but there's technically no criminal evidence against it not being just a happy love song. He just doesn't sound 100% sold that it's all going to work out.
It must have been all them drugs.
When you're whacked out on drugs, even when you're being your most romantic, it comes off kind of depressing, probably. But yeah, it is probably the most obvious and widely used as wedding songs. My kind of wedding song. We didn't have an actual wedding, but we had a party for everybody afterwards, and this song was played by our friends that we just asked to get up and play, and they played that for us. So it's kind of the unofficial, cool, it's kind of the ultimate love song if you want it to be love song. Hard to argue, I guess. For track 2, I would kind of come out blazing with this being the lovey single from this disc. It would be Halo, the B-side to Friday I'm in Love. There's pretty much no denying the positive glow of this song. It's very cool. I love the bass line, just keeps you fun, and never felt like this with anyone before. It's hard to argue the passion level of that pop gem.
It is a jam, that one.
So you could sprinkle that on a Valentine's mix for somebody, I'm sure, and they'd eat it up. But always good, like I said, good B-sides in there too, because they're always the forgotten gems. But going back to a big single, quite possibly the happiest Cure song, Mint Car. I know a lot of people are anti-Mint Car.
That'll be a skipper for me. That'll be a skip.
I do like it. I definitely feel like it fits the mold of if you're in a happy mood. It's definitely a lot easier to stomach. But it's just positively, I guess, as far as analyzing it, I had a friend say that it was clearly about losing your virginity and young love and all that. So I was like, Yeah, I guess it makes sense when I never really thought of it that way, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I guess it's trying to capture maybe that blissful moment of somehow everything's going right for that one moment before the big crash. But yeah, so I feel like it's, that's probably where it's few actual criticism of the song is that it's too overly happy over the top. But as far as a cool happy song on a mix, yeah, why not, right? So
Yeah, go for it.
yeah, so 4, I try to balance the peppy fun nature with actual happy lyrical content with High as a good one, just because it's so dreamy, and kind of stumbled across that with the lyric episode of how sexual it is, maybe without really knowing it, when you're kind of looking at it, and it's, oh yeah, everything's like sticky as lips and all this, and it's a good, I guess you got a little sexy on Valentine's Day, why not?
Yeah, yeah. It always, he always makes me cringe a little bit when he goes into sexy Robert. It's
Yeah,
kind of like, well, dude, especially when you see him perform it nowadays.
Yeah,
And
he's
he's
all
kind of
licking his hands and stuff. It's just like, ooh. But God bless him, he's got to be keeping it sexy after all these years there. But so yeah, High, we'll go with that one. For the next track, this would be the end of my side one. Is definitely, again, kind of like Love Song, where it falls both ways. One More Time off of Kiss Me. I feel like technically this is a depressing song, but really picking apart the lyrics, there's no, again, any legal evidence that shows that this isn't going to happen. And he's saying, just hold me one more time, and never let me down and all that. And it's just a really dreamy and sweet, positive song without being overly poppy, So,
yeah. I really like that one.
Yeah, so I figured that'd be a good way to close it out without going for complete pop mayhem on this happy mix. So let's flip this record over now that we've been brought down and bring back the pop. Let's Go to Bed. I figured it would be a good one because most of it's nonsense, but it's also the funnest way of asking someone to sleep with you, I guess. Going through all the... One day I'll figure out what shaking like milk really means, but I don't know. Is that an expression or something? I don't know. Is that
the milkshake? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It seems obvious, but at the same time, I'm not sure I can really explain it to my kid or anything. So, what he means is. So, I figured that'd be a good poppy one. Let's Go to Bed. Track 7. It's kind of a forgotten one too that I'm not crazy about, but I love the writing of the song is Home. It's a B-side on Nick Carr, I believe it was.
Home.
Yeah.
Every time I try to tell you how I feel inside, I always make the same mistake.
One of my favourite songs, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I love it a lot. I remember when we were picking it apart, for some reason listening to it, the drum hit on it drives me a little crazy, but it's such a good song that, I'm like, whatever, who cares, but it's such sweet lyrics and just a really cool song that blows my mind that it didn't somehow make the cut on Wild Mood Swings, It's like, how is that not on the album? But, so it's a deeply lovey-dovey lyrics there on that one, and I think I have put that on some Valentine mixes in the past or something, so that one's got to be there. Track 8, let's see. This one I think captures young love really well, even though he says an upstairs room is the song, so I think it's just a fun kind of push and pull. I think somewhere in there he's saying now you're gone, I think. So, but she's not gone for long. So it's young love. They'll come back and forth a million times. But I figured that was kind of a good unrated, fun, lovey song where it just seems very whimsical and carefree. So it could be a good one. Of course, Perfect Girl, track 9, off of Kiss Me Again. Kind of fits in the young early love stages, I think, too. Very good infatuation song, very straightforward.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard that one that much. Is that the one was like dun 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 dun?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
very,
yeah,
like,
no, yeah.
it's like, you're such a strange girl. So it's all about like you're a weirdo like me. Let's fall in love kind of song, you know. It's overly poppy, but same time cute, you know. So. And then I'd round it out, going back down again as I ended track one or side one with One More Time. A good dreamy love song to end it all would be this Twilight Garden, the B-side for High, just because no one will ever take your place. It's very, you know, the whole song just sounds like a perfectly stay in bed all day kind of song, you know, and I feel like that brings it on home there with a magical moment. And of course, you know, there's all the billions of honorable mentions that people would probably prefer in there, such as Friday I'm in Love and Why Can't I Be You and Love Cats and all those like carefree, happy-go-lucky ones, but I figured we wouldn't go full-on greatest hits, you know? So
Yeah, no, that's a good shout. Some good hidden gems in there, some good deep cuts.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's a little overly poppy, but I think staying with the positive side of love, why not?
Yeah.
Any that you would add or take away?
I could just quickly run through mine.
Yeah.
I just opened mine up with Just Like Heaven. Then Home. So we've got a match there.
Yeah.
Then Six Different Ways.
Yeah, I thought about that one.
Such a happy, upbeat kind of happy song. Six Different Ways. Hey You. I don't like it, but I thought in the mood of love,
totally.
why not? How Beautiful You Are.
Yeah.
Romantic. Yeah. Then High. So another match.
Right on.
This one kind of brings the mood down a bit, but it's still more on the more lovey-dovey ones. There Is No If.
Yeah.
From Bloodflowers. Gotta give Bloodflowers a bit of love.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna think of that.
It deserves some love, not a lot, but a bit.
It had one on it. Yeah, so I felt bad. I was like, oh yeah, on the depressing list, there should have been one after that.
Underneath the Stars.
Yeah.
Friday I'm in Love, and End It With Close to Me.
Yeah. Yeah, Close to Me is a good one too. Yeah, I'd take all those. Plain Song was one I was torn on, where even though it's like the world's collapsing, we're all gonna die, but there's something that's always been kind of romantic about it to me, in the sense that it's like at least they're going down together, you know. It seems that way almost, or they're both disintegrating together or something. But maybe I'm totally misinterpreting it. But I was like, yeah, that seems strangely positive for some reason. But so I think I love that both of us obviously seem more in true Cure fan fashion. We're more comfortable with the depressing songs, I think. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, the poppy ones flow, but you know. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that's a pretty good compilation, though, for sure. We'll have to make a Spotify playlist or something and throw that up. We haven't done that in a while, so we'll make a little playlist of both of these and people can check them out. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'll definitely be a cool idea, yeah.
Hey, do you have a just whether it be love-based or happy-go-lucky go-to song that you like from The Cure? What's when you're just feeling on top of the world, which one did you?
It'd probably be either Just Like Heaven or Home.
Yeah.
But unfortunately I don't really get in them situations much, so unless I'm in one of them, let's just pretend moods.
Fair enough. Easier to hang out in Disintegration and see where the mood takes you. Yeah. That makes sense. But yeah, like I said, a lot of those are like happy ones that have sad lyrics too, and vice versa, and you can flip and flop them, you know. Like Push is one that always makes me like a good driving around song, you know. I wouldn't say it's necessarily like lyrically everything's going great in the world kind of thing, or In Between Days even doesn't really sound like it's all working out, but it's such a fun song that, you know, you can't. But pretty rad. So I guess to wrap up, then I hope everyone has a great mix and Valentine's, whether you're stewing in depression or having a great time. But it turns out you got a new single that's about to come out, right?
Yeah, so my band Saturn Split. We've been, busy working away. I think the last time we were on here, we were just about to go into our kind of summer 2019
Right on.
tour of sorts. Even though we weren't really leaving the rest of England, we were doing some dates kind of around the area, and
Yeah.
we had a bit of a break and got back in the winter. And just before the end of the year, we went to the studio and recorded 2 tracks. And we've got one track that's coming out. It'll probably be the 21st of February. So by the time this is airing, it's not going to be long. So I thought, as a little treat, I could send it into the podcast, and we could probably end the show
All
with
right.
that track as a exclusive
All
to the
right.
fans, to the patrons of the Holy Hour.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks so much for sharing it. And yeah, we'll close out the show with it. Before we dive into the new single, what's the name of it?
It's called Family Values. It was originally, I started writing it based on kind of like the Manson family,
All right.
and as the words were, as I was getting the lyrics down, it became more of just a kind of a bit of a attack on religion and the kind of extremism. It's with like modern events and
Yeah.
kind of terrorism, and the kind of extremism from Christianity as well, and just how these things can turn people into killers, really. And that's kind of how the song kind of developed and kind of became this very topical, very deep song.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, yeah, it sounds like the perfect Valentine's Day song to me, man.
Yeah, well, we do have a more kind of, I've kind of messed this up. Really, I should have done the other one, shouldn't
Nah.
I?
We know what the Cure fans want.
Yeah.
It's all good. Cool. And any dates that'll be where people will be able to catch you live anytime after about February 14th, I guess?
Yeah, well, we're going to have one in Liverpool. That's another show we're putting together ourselves at the Outpost. So if any of the UK listeners are listening, it'd be awesome if you come down. I mean, it'd be awesome if you could just get on our Facebook page and give us a like and just show a bit of support when the single comes out.
Yeah.
Maybe give it a listen on Spotify, all that good stuff.
Cool.
My inbox is always open if there's any other bands out there who want me to help and support their music, and we can just kind of come together as a community. And unfortunately, there's not much Cure-esque stuff in our music. We're kind of a harder rock free piece, and
Yeah.
I am dreaming of the day we can get a keyboardist on board and really get some
Right on.
Cure style jams down. But until that day, you
Yeah,
can make do with the sound we've got.
stick with the rock. Yeah, so,
Yeah.
sounds good, man. Well, I definitely look forward to hearing it. And as this date approaches and the release of this episode, we'll tack on any other links and dates to see Saturn Split. And you can check that out on our Facebook page, too. So, all right, man. So I guess we'll kick it off with the single. And I'll say thanks so much for sharing these songs with me and being a part of the show again. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Oh yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for letting us on. And let's just say a quick fingers crossed for a 2020 Cure album.
Sounds good, man. We'll keep them crossed. Awesome. So here we go. The new single, Family Values by Saturn Split, an exclusive here on the Holy Hour podcast. Thanks so much, John.
the hills you took their lives. On the hills you left them lying. On the hills you left them dying. Welcome to the family. It is all that you can see. It is all that you believe. Take another life from me. Take another life from me. Welcome to the family. It is all that you can see. It is all that you believe. So take another life from me. Take a fucking life from me.
All right, there you have it, guys. The world premiere exclusive new single from Saturn Split, Family Values. Go give it another listen on your favorite streaming platform as well as on our Facebook page. We'll have a link. While you're on Facebook, be sure to go over to Saturn Split's page and like and follow that as well. Again, that's Saturn, like the planet, Split. And yeah, keep an eye on them. And if you live in the Liverpool area, keep an eye out for some gigs coming up. So lots more on the horizon for those guys. Thanks so much, John. Always a pleasure talking with you. I hope people enjoy our Heartbreakers and Heartshakers mixes, and they bring you some kind of joy or help in your misery on Valentine's Day. We'll be back next episode with a very cool... we'll get the whole gang together again and talk Phil Thornalley. We continue our profiles episodes, so it's a cool one we recorded a little while back, and kind of run through the career of producer, songwriter, bassist Phil Thornalley. And until then, be sure to follow us on iTunes and YouTube. YouTube is the super safe one. You want to follow us there, go for it. We're switching over hostings. Still a few little details to iron out, but we're dumping those suckers Podcast Garden, worst hosting site in the world. And I think we got it all smoothed out. Still trying to get those damn old episodes to work again. But as far as now, it looks like everything's functioning under this new hosting, and I'm about to officially zap the other guys. So hopefully everything's all right. I'm sure you'll hear about it if there's any nuclear meltdown somewhere in the process, and apologies in advance. But otherwise, we're switching over hostings, and hopefully it'll be seamless on your end. But feel free to get in touch if you're having any troubles, and I can steer you in the right direction. Just email me, gavinconnor@gmail.com. And yeah, follow us on one of those, like it, do whatever you want to do with the buttons there. And Instagram, the Holy Hour Podcast on Instagram. And, you know, like I said, our Facebook page. So until next time, find some shirts on 17secondshirts.bigcartel.com. You can find some awesome Chaz shirts there. So go check them out, see what's up for pre-order at the time. And don't miss out. Okay? Okay? All right. Well, thanks for sharing this holiday with us. Let's move on to the next one. What, St. Patrick's Day next or something like that? Holidays are hell. We'll catch you next time. Talk hard.